Welcome back to another episode of Ask Forza. Summer racing is upon us, and we've talked about yearlings, but the day before the yearling sale at Fasig-Tipton, there is a horses of racing age sale. It's a great opportunity to get some good horses. You need to understand what you're going there for and what your budget is, because the one thing that you will find at horses of racing age sales is massive swings in sale prices. I kind of want to dig in terms of what you can see at these sales. Some of these sales have very good horses in them. Some of these sales have very overpriced horses in them. What you will find, and I do want to talk about price first, because to me, I am a bargain shopper. I love bargains. I'm always trying to play the system to my advantage. So I tend to, and it depends on the budget. If somebody comes to me and says, hey, I've got $100,000. I want to go to a horses of racing age sale and I want a stakes caliber horse. I cannot buy an upward trajectory stakes caliber horse for $100,000. It just won't happen. Basically, how these horse of racing age sale work, especially these summertime sales, you have a lot of people who've been trying to claim. They've been getting outshook. There's a lot of people who want good horses to take to Del Mar for Ship and Win. You have a lot of people who want to load up on horses for Saratoga. So these horses are bought at premium prices, whereas if you were to buy these same horses in January and February, they would not be selling for the same amount of money. So the one thing when I am a bargain shopper looking for something good, I actually look for horses who are off form. I like to find horses that had talent, showed talent previously in back class, same thing as I do when I'm looking for claims, and had a couple bad races recently, because that will massively decrease a horse's sales price. People don't like horses who have not run well recently. So what I then do is I then dig into why, just as I do with claiming. Did the horse drop from running at a distance to it sprinted the last two starts? Or was it running on turf and then all of a sudden racing at Churchill Downs shut down and the options weren't there and the horse made two starts on dirt and they were terrible? So I'm looking for flaws in the form of that horse first to determine if that horse still has talent, if that's something I can buy. Now here's the plus thing about a horse of racing age sale. You can vet these horses. So you're not gambling like at a claiming race where it's I think I know, drop the slip. It's, I think I know, I vetted it, oh gosh, there's the issue, and we're running away. So that's the nice thing about these horse of racing age sales. You have a little bit more certainty in terms of what you're buying to then continue on racing. But a lot of it for me is, what are your goals? What type of horse are you trying to buy? I will tell you, you will go to these sales and there will be horses that just broke their maiden, and they will sell for $500,000, and they will never win the allowance. It happens all the time at these sales.
You love those horses.
Oh, I hate those horses. I could go back and show you the last 2 years, some of the sales toppers in these sales that were bought off of recency bias, which is massive in our sport, that never performed that well after that. And there's others that performed okay. So when you're buying in these sales, you need to know who you're buying from. Which trainer had that horse previously? Is the trainer you're moving it to better than that trainer? Because that is a huge question. It's the same thing with claiming. If you're taking a horse from a guy who's a Hall of Fame trainer who's very good with that specific type of horse, and you're moving it to somebody who's maybe newer in the game and needs a good horse, but is not as good at that trainer and that specific thing, you might be overpaying for the horse. So you really need, as we say with everything, have your game plan organized. Who's the trainer going to? What's your goal with that horse? What circuit is it going to? Because you're trying to figure out with what you spend that you can get the most out of what you've spent on that horse. So I like to look at a lot of different things in these sales. And again, I'm always looking for an upside. I don't like overpaying for anything for any client. I want them to buy a horse at the right price, and then for that horse to go on and perform so they have something of a better caliber than what they bought, what they paid for. Is there any questions that you might have for me when it comes to horse of racing age?
Well, I know what you look for, but I guess I feel like when we go to those sales, oftentimes we see a lot of horses with sore back ends. They're very overtrained. I don't know if you had anything to comment on that.
So that's the other nice thing, and I do this when I claim horses too. Is I want to see the horses physically. This sale, what's nice is you can go there. I've talked about it in other videos. Is if you're hearing fireworks, we're doing all of this on 4th of July. So instead of celebrating, we're recording for you. So I know in certain barns with horses exiting those barns, certain issues that those horses are going to be prone to. And if I'm going to another trainer's barn where I know those things are going to be remedied, I will also look for that in a sale. So a horse that might have kind of fallen off behind, where the muscling behind isn't what I would expect. I can look at that horse and watch it walk and see if it's kind of sore in its stifles, its hocks, how it's moving behind. We tend to do at these sales, actually, these are the most hands-on we get at sales. We put our hands all over these horses. Dominique and I, once we narrow it down, I go through form on these horses first to decide what I want based on what the client's goals are. And then we will get there and we will inspect them in person. We'll look at how they're shod, how they move, what's their conformation, is there fluid in joints, and then
how the tendons, suspensories, how their backs are.
But we will take them in the stall. You usually see us in the stall a lot at these sales because Dominique, we are palpating these horses everywhere. We are palpating to see if their suspensories are sore, if they have any soreness in a tendon, how their ankles flex. What do the backs feel like? What do their glutes feel like? Where we'll put our hands in their mouth even to check their dentistry, because as we said, dentistry is a big deal in horses. So if we can find a good horse with bad teeth, we found a potential bargain if we're not overpaying. So those are the things that we tend to do at these sales. Is we take the liberty of that horse is there, and we get to spend a lot of time with it. So we will find every flaw in these horses we can, to try and make sure that we can then fix those flaws for the next connection to then hopefully have a horse on the upswing. So horse of racing age sale are a great place because you really get a chance to look at what that horse is. Sometimes you'll look at them and say, this is all it is. It's never going to get any better. We're buying it for what it's worth. And then basically you establish that price point and you say, this horse is an allowance horse. He's a good allowance horse. He's probably only going to win the 2X. He's already won the 1X. So to me, I value those horses at like 75, 80, maybe 100 grand. Some people are going to say I'm cheap. Well, I am cheap.
Well, it is a tough market right now, as a buyer trying to find a bargain, because everybody is willing to pay so much right now.
Exactly. So I look at these horses very much on anytime I look for a horse in a horse of racing age sale or a claiming race, I'm trying to determine earnings potential and upward trajectory. So if I look at a horse that broke its maiden, but it didn't break it impressively, I'm then going to look and say, well, more than likely this horse he might be able to win the allowance. I don't know if he's capable of winning the 2X. He'll probably have to drop back in for a claiming tag at some point and be moved on. Horse probably has 100 to 150,000 of earning capacity in him, so I don't want to pay any more than 150,000 for that horse. So we're basically trying to look at where the ceiling is on these horses, and then determine based on the ceiling what that horse is worth. Because for us at the end of the day, I say bargain. I'm trying to make sure this is a game where you play this game to have fun, but I do want our clients to at least have a financially successful operation. So I try and look for, can this horse earn back what it was purchased for plus training fees, to where clients more than likely break even. And if I can do it, which we have done in the past, to try and help that client actually make a profit on some of these horses. So those are the things we kind of look for as we dial in at horses of racing age sale. It's a fun time. So anyways, just wanted to give you a little background on what we do at these different types of sales.